I'm not taking a side on this. I am just forgiveness. I'm promoting love and I'm promoting peace. I'm not saying anything about one side or the other. And please know that the views that expressed here tonight are my own and nobody else's. But we are promoting peace. What's up, Chris? But so we're going to examine how we can stay on a forgiveness mindset and a forgiveness path, even in challenging times and volatile issues. And then, of course, if you stay about through halfway through the show, you'll get our thank you, Chris. We'll get our guest here tonight. My favorite part of the show, we have a real live guest who comes on and tells a story of forgiveness from her own life. Tonight, we've got Jessica. You may know her. Whoa, Thomas, thank you so much. Wow, a Terror Castle. That's huge. Thank you so much. Wow, Thomas, thank you. We got Jessica from the 90 Day Fiance franchise. Yes, 90 Day Fiance franchise. She's going to be sharing her story. So make sure y'all stay through the whole show. Thomas, thank you so much. And she's going to be sharing her own story. A little known fact about Jessica, guys. Jessica is actually a licensed therapist. So she might have some pretty good insights for us, you know. So yeah, not me. I'm just your country bumpkin criminal justice officer, okay, with a heart for forgiveness in his heart. So, but we love Jessica. I got to know her through the show, and she's going to be a great guest. All right, let's stop talking about the show and actually do it. Right. Last thing, guys. I know we have 102 people here. Thank you all for the gifts. Please know that I can't read every comment out loud. I can't maybe thank you specifically for the gifts one by one. Please know that I do appreciate all gifts. All gifts are very, very greatly appreciated. And even though I can't read the comments out loud, I do see your comments. I do appreciate your comments. And if you're here to send me a dragon wheel, come back this weekend when I have my birthday stream. Okay. All right, guys. So let's get started as we do every week. Can y'all hear me okay, by the way? I'm talking a little bit low because there are kids in the house, but can y'all hear me? Okay. Okay. Okay, so let's talk about what forgiveness is. Now, I get a little bit of flack from this because we kind of do the same little monologue every week, but I really think it's important that we talk about what forgiveness is. Number one, because we get new people into the show. Like, we have new people coming in the show every week, right? It's also it's good to be reminded, y'all. Has anybody ever gone to church or ever been listened to an inspirational speech? And even though we know stuff, right, it's helpful to be reminded of it, so it's fresh on our memory. Stuff that we know that we should be doing, stuff that we know that's relevant, but it's good to be reminded, right? So what exactly is forgiveness? Well, the definition of forgiveness that we use for the purposes of this show is very similar to what you'll find on Merriam-Webster's dictionary, dictionary.com, or anywhere you get your definitions. It's releasing the right to hate, releasing the right to revenge, and in so doing, releasing ourselves from the chains of victimhood. Now, that's a long definition, so let's go over that again. Forgiveness is releasing the right to hate, releasing the right to revenge, and in so doing, releasing ourselves from the chains of victimhood. Now, what you'll notice it does not say is that we're releasing someone from the consequences of their actions. What it's not saying is that we're letting something go, that we're letting someone off the hook. And that's a very common misconception about forgiveness. And it's a perception, I think, why a lot of people are resistant to forgiveness. They think that they're protecting ourselves, right? We think by holding on to unforgiveness, we're actually doing something tough. We're protecting ourselves, right? It's a defense mechanism. We don't want to let somebody get away with hurting us. But forgiveness is not that. Forgiveness is not saying that there are no consequences to your actions. Forgiveness is not saying that I can't hold you accountable. And forgiveness is not saying that I have to continue allowing you access to hurting me more. But what forgiveness is saying is that all that negativity, that animosity, that hatred, that toxicity that I walk around with day after day, week after week, that burdens me, that I'm going to release that for my own peace so that I can start living my best life now. That I don't hold on to that hatred, and that I don't hold on to that all that negativity that brings me down day after day. Now, that is what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is first and foremost for ourselves. Forgiveness is, Kraken, thank you. Forgiveness is so that we don't have to walk around with that burden on our shoulder, right? And think about it. It makes sense, right? Because let's say that somebody hurt you. Let's say that John hurt me, right? John hurts Matthew. And day after day, week after week, I walk around with that negativity towards John, right? Oh, I hate that John. Oh, I can't believe that John did that to me, right? Do you think that John is out there in the universe going, man, I can really feel Matthew's hatred. I can really feel it. I should really change my ways. John ain't thinking about me, right, Timmy? John ain't thinking about me. John is not affected by me harboring all this negativity. The person that's being affected by that is who? The person being affected by that is me. And the thing is we think that we're protecting ourselves, right? It's not a natural response. Forgiveness is not something that is a natural response, because when someone hurts us, right, when someone hurts us, what is our natural reaction, right? We want to hurt them back. You hit me, eye for an eye, right? You punch me, I'm going to punch you back. You say something bad about me, I'm going to say something bad about you. It's a natural response. It speaks to a misguided sense of justice within us. But what do we know about hurt people, guys? We're taught this that we interact with on a day-to-day basis. And unfortunately, even if we don't take revenge against the person who hurt us, even if we don't take revenge, that's going to come out on the people that we interact with and that we're closest with, right? This could be our coworkers, this could be our family, this could be our friends, this could be our spouse, our children, even our parents. And we all know somebody who does that, right? You ever met someone, guys? Thank you so much for the gifts, by the way. Kraken, thank you. We all know somebody who just holds on to unforgiveness and they don't let anything go, right? Have y'all ever met someone like this? Maybe you work with someone like that. I work with someone like this, right? And they don't let anything go. Anytime someone hurts them, right, they hold on to it. They don't let it go. They don't forget. And they got a problem with what John did. They got a problem with what Mark did. And these are miserable people to be around. They're always complaining. They're always talking about how bad everybody is. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be one of those people, right? I don't want to be one of these people who's going to give this person power who hurt me. Now think about that, guys. Whenever we fail to forgive, we're giving the person who hurt us, we're giving them power over us. But here's the crazy part: because we know that hurt people, because we know that we're going to take that out on other people, we're not only giving the person who hurt us power over us, we're giving them power over the people that we interact with on a day-to-day basis. Now think about how little sense that makes us. That's how little sense that makes. We're giving someone who hurt us power not only over us, but the people that are in our life, because we know that hurt people hurt people. So forgiveness is about letting go of all that anger, letting go of all that hatred, letting go of all that resentment so that we can live our best life now, even if you're not someone who takes revenge, even if you're not someone who takes who harbors onto that hatred, active hatred, right? Yeah, we're getting bonuses. I see that. Wouldn't it be nice if we got a big bonus? I think I need to forgive Meet Me for not letting me hit a dragon. We haven't hit a dragon since 1995. Now I know I'm getting a little off topic here, but come on, Meet Me. It's my birthday week. Can't you do something special for me? Come on, y'all. This is my last week trying to hit top badge goals. Y'all can help me out. Come on, Mimi. Let me get back on track. But we got to promote forgiveness at all points, like even on Meet Me, even when Meet Me's being sideways with us, right? Now, let me get back on track. Y'all see how ADHD is. Y'all, by the way, this is forgiveness culture. Every single week we talk about the hope, the peace, the power that can be found in forgiveness. And I am your host, Matthew. Thank you to all 174 of y'all for being here. 175. I appreciate all the gifts, guys. The gifts have just been nonstop this entire stream, and I so greatly appreciate that. And I can't wait to see so many of you guys at Live Fest in a few weeks. Um, I would be remiss if I we talked about forgiveness without talking about our good friend karma, right? We talk about karma every week because this is something that I hear a lot, right? Is that when people say, I don't forgive, right? I don't forgive, I don't take revenge. I don't spend my time focusing on hatred, but I don't forgive because I let karma handle it, right? Have you ever said that? Maybe someone you know has said that. I'm just gonna. They do what I like to call waiting for karma. And while waiting for karma to get somebody back, well, that's definitely better than taking revenge against someone, right? That's definitely better than focusing and harboring hatred towards someone. My question to people who are waiting for karma to forgive someone is, how long are you willing to put your peace on hold, waiting for karma to give that person what they deserve? How long are you willing to put your best hold, your life, put your best life on hold, waiting for karma to give that person what they deserve? Some people will wait weeks, months. I know people who wait years waiting for karma to give that person what they deserve before they start living their best life. I don't know about you, but I'm not going to let my attitude be affected by someone who hurt me. I'm not going to let my best life, my peace, the decisions that I make, how I treat other people, I'm not going to let that be affected by someone who hurt me. The person who hurt me, they're the last person who deserves any say over how I live my life. The person who hurt me, they're the last person who deserves any say over my spirit, my attitude, my emotional and physical health. They don't deserve nothing, so I'm not going to give that to them. The best revenge that we can take against someone who hurt us is to show them that what they did has no power over us. Did anybody out there hear me on that one? Did anybody out there hear me on that one? I'm going to say that one again. The best revenge that we can take against someone who hurt us is to show them that what they did has no power over us. That that is true freedom, because freedom and forgiveness are one and the same. Forgiveness is about taking our freedom back. Because what's that second part of the definition? We're going to go back to our definition real quick. Releasing the right to hate, releasing the right to revenge. And then what's the second part of that definition? Releasing ourselves from the chains of victimhood. When we forgive others, we're unbinding ourselves, right? We are unbinding ourselves from that, and unchaining ourselves from that pain. Guys, welcome to the forgiveness culture. Thank you. We got 195 people here. So glad to see all of you guys. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Guys, we got a really special guest coming up here in about 11 minutes. Good friend of mine from the 90 Day Fiance franchise, and I'm so excited for her to share her story with you guys. We just got done talking about a static definition of forgiveness. What is forgiveness? Releasing the right to hate, releasing the right to revenge, and in so doing, releasing ourselves from the chains of victimhood. Really quick, I want to look at forgiveness from a more dynamic context, because we all know that forgiveness is going to look different depending on who we're forgiving and what we're forgiving them for, right? So I always like to say that forgiveness exists somewhere on a spectrum, right? We're going to forgive someone on one side of the spectrum who maybe says something disrespectful about us, right? We're going to forgive that person very differently than someone on the other side of the spectrum who commits like a serious crime against us, right? Those forgiveness stories and journeys are going to look very different, and depending on what we're forgiving them for. On one side of the spectrum, it may just mean having a conversation with someone and saying, hey, look, I don't appreciate what you said. I want to move past it. Okay. On the other side of the spectrum, if someone commits a serious crime against us, it may mean seeking justice. So that person goes to prison, that person goes to jail, that person faces the consequences of their actions. Because just because we forgive someone doesn't mean that we're releasing them from the consequences of their actions. We can still hold someone accountable when they hurt us. Just because I'm going to forgive that person doesn't mean I'm letting it go. Just because what we're doing is letting go of the hatred, letting go of the animosity, letting go of that resentment that brings me down. But that doesn't mean that you don't get held responsible. We're going to get into that. And I always like to use the example of cheating, right? If you're in a relationship, right? So some people say, like, right, if you cheat on me in a relationship, right, it's over. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your excuses. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord splits you. All right. Some people are able to work through infidelity, right? They're able to kind of rebuild trust and kind of get back to the core of what made them strong together. There's no right or wrong answer, but no matter which way you choose, let's say even if you choose to break up with that person, right? There's no need to harbor on animosity and hatred towards that person. You can you can forgive someone and still cut them out of your life. Because again, just because I'm forgiving you doesn't mean I'm going to continue to allow you access to hurting me, right? But we can let someone go without all that toxicity, right? We can say, as Tupac said, so you know it's true, I want you to eat, but I don't want you at my dinner table. Right. But just because I want you at my dinner table, don't want you at my dinner table, doesn't mean I don't want you to eat. You guys, you know it's true if Tupac said it. All right. If Tupac said it, it's gold. So, you know, even if we let someone go out of our life, we can still forgive that person. And how do we forgive someone how do we hold someone accountable without seeking revenge? Really quickly, and then we're going to move on to our next segment of the show. How do we hold someone accountable without seeking revenge? right? um you know what, all right, don't get me distracted on a good Wednesday. All right, how do I hold someone accountable without seeking revenge? Ask yourself this question when you're responding. First of all, don't respond when you're highly emotional, because when we're highly emotional, that's when we make our worst decisions. Unfortunately, when we're highly emotional is usually when we need to make our best decisions, but unfortunately when we're highly emotional, it's usually when we make our worst decisions. But ask yourself when you're responding, am I doing what's best for me, or am I doing what's worst for them? I'm going to repeat that because it's pretty important. When I'm responding, am I doing what's best for me, or am I doing what's worst for them? Because if I'm doing what's best for me, then my focus is coming from a place of self-love, healthy boundaries. But if I'm doing what's worst for them, now my focus is on a place of revenge. Now my focus is on a place of hurt and pain. That's a good question. And usually if you're focusing on what's best for you, and then you are going to stay on a forgiveness path, and that's a great path to follow. Guys, welcome all 200. We got 215 people here. Thank you all so much for joining. Guys, we are almost to our goal for the stream, and we're only 15K away, and I still got a birthday stream to go. So I love all you guys. Thank you so much. We've done so much already. We talked about the static and dynamic definitions and what it means to forgive. The next segment of the show is called the Forgiveness Challenge segment of the show. Now, I during the Forgiveness Challenge segment of the show, we talk about an area of forgiveness that may be particularly challenging. Now, I'm going to be very careful with this because there's a lot of stuff going on in current events, and I don't want to seem like I'm taking a political position at all. But this week's Forgiveness Challenge, I think, is relevant given on what's going on in the Middle East. How do we stay on a forgiveness path when it's a very volatile issue, like what's going on between Israel and Palestine? How do we stay in forgiveness when it's a very volatile issue? There's 3 steps we can take to make sure that we are staying on a forgiveness path, even when it's a very highly emotionally charged issue. The first step, we need to make sure that we do not dehumanize people. I don't care, doesn't matter what side you're on. When we dehumanize people, we lose. We lose when we dehumanize people. We're automatically going to seek options that do not endorse peace, that do not promote peace, and we're going to follow down a path of destruction. So the first thing, no matter what we do, is not to dehumanize people. We have to, once we dismiss somebody's humanity, no matter how bad of their actions are, no matter how bad we hate what they represent, when we dehumanize a person and remove their humanity, we are going down a very dark path. Second step we can take is try to understand the situation from a logical rather than emotional context. The problem with highly volatile situations is that we tend to respond emotionally, right? And it's not always easy to look at it from a logical standpoint and try to understand where different sides are coming from on an issue. Not to say that we should ever condone or justify anyone's actions that we see as immoral. But when we understand an issue from a logical standpoint, right, we can usually make better choices than we can when we're responding from purely emotional standpoint. So second step is try to understand the situation from a logical standpoint, and always this, and step 3 is always seeking justice with an end goal of peace in mind. I think a lot of us say that we're seeking justice, whether it's in this situation in the Middle East, or maybe it's a situation in our personal life when someone does something against us. And we say that we're seeking justice, but oftentimes that's wrapped in retribution. When we seek justice, we need to seek justice with an end goal of peace, peace for ourselves, peace for others, and just general peace, right? So when it's a highly volatile issue, it may be challenging, but number one, we can't dehumanize people. 2, try to understand situations from a logical rather than emotional context. And 3, seek justice with an end goal of peace. So thank you all for joining. That was our Forgiveness Challenge segment of the show. How do we stay in forgiveness when it's a very volatile issue? We also already talked about what forgiveness is from a static and dynamic context. I thank you all for being here. We're going to get to our guest in just 3 minutes. Um, Before we do, I like to give an example of forgiveness from popular culture or current events every single week, or from history. And given what's going on, again, guys, not taking a side about anything, but I wanted to give a story about what's going on in the Middle East. there wasn't a group of Palestinians and Israelites that got together in 2011 that started a peace project. And through the peace project, it had three kind of channels. It started a dialogue, they shared art and culture, and they talked about shared experiences. And it wasn't coming from a place of war, it wasn't coming from a place of um, religion or sides, but the goal of this peace project was just to talk, was just to like share music, share art, share things that were important in order to see the humanity in one another. And I thought that was really cool and something I could share this week, without getting any into the politics of what's going on in the Middle East. But I thought it was cool, and there's a lot of cool stories. If you Google this project, it's the GYBO project. It was a grassroots peace initiative between the Israelites and Palestinians, where they talked, and it wasn't about like anything really controversial. It wasn't anything that was like religious in tone, but just sharing things that were important to them, sharing music, sharing art, sharing culture, and just through normal dialogue, like you would with someone who's at the airport that you talk to. They were able to kind of promote peace by trying to endorse the humanity in one another. Even if they didn't see eye to eye on political or religious issues, they were able to just share a common experience. And I thought that was pretty cool. It's like, even if you have someone that you're diametrically opposed to and that you have very, very strong feelings against politically or religiously, that you're able to sit down, have a drink, have a meal, and just share an experience. And I thought that was really, really cool. So you can Google more about it. It's the GYBO initiative, and it actually started in Gaza. So I thought that was pretty cool. But thank you guys for being here. I'm so glad we got going on 300 people right now. I'm so glad that you're all here. I'm so glad that y'all joined us this week for Forgiveness Culture. This is Meet Me's show, only featured show that talks about the hope, the peace, the power of forgiveness. Every single week, we talk about forgiveness related content, and we have guests who come on the show and share their own experiences, their own stories of forgiveness from their own life. Now, this week, guys, we got a very, very, very special guest. We got someone from the 90 Day franchise. If y'all don't know, I was on this show. I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, but it got me a little bit of notoriety, I guess. But one of the cool things I got to do through this show was meet some really cool people. And one of them is our guest tonight and a friend of mine who goes by the name of Jessica. She doesn't go by the name of Jessica. I don't know why I said that. Her name is Jessica. Okay, I'm going to teach Jessica how to join the box now. So, y'all, this is going to be pretty cool. All right, so Jessica, you should see a little plus sign somewhere down here. And then there should be like a little camera button that says join as guest. So if you need any help with that, let me know. But it should be fairly, if you look for the plus sign, you should see an option to request as a guest. And then I can let you in and we can talk about your story. So yes, the guest. I think she found it. Here she goes. Here we go. Let me let her in. Jessica.
Hi. Can you
Hi.
hear me?
Oh no. Okay. The only thing is we're not allowed to have kids on this stream. I'm sorry.
Oh
I'm
no,
so
I will put him
they'll
down.
ban you. I'm so sorry. I should have warned you about that.
Yeah, I have a baby that does not want to go to sleep yet, but he can lay beside me and we'll play it by ear.
Okay, I apologize. I
Nope,
don't even
I'm
know I didn't
single
think
mom
to tell
life.
you
Well, kind
that.
of. One's far away.
Some
Half single mom
the
life.
long distance mom life, right?
Yeah, exactly. Long distance.
I should have sorted it. Yeah, it's. I think it has to do with protecting
For
minors and
sure.
stuff.
I wondered, and I've been trying the last hour to get him to fall asleep, but he's just like not
That's okay.
ready
That's
to go
okay.
to sleep.
We
So
completely understand. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight and being willing to share your story. For those who maybe don't watch TV or they may not know, can you just take 30 seconds, just tell us a little bit about who you are and what we should know about you?
So my name is Jessica. Those of you how I know Matthew is from 90 Day Fiance, Love in Paradise season 3, where we were both castmates. I guess we were both on the
Yeah.
show, and I'm in a international long distance relationship, just like Matthew. My fiance's name is Juan. I have 3 kids. 7, 9, and 4 months, as you very briefly saw, and Yeah, I think that's pretty much I'm a counselor, so I think that's
Yes.
important. As you've been talking about forgiveness. So I am a licensed mental health therapist. Matthew, I do believe that you could probably go get your.
Who don't know or didn't follow the show, or didn't follow it to the end, Jessica and I are the only two surviving Americans left from the couples of season 3 of Love in Paradise. So there you go.
And then
But no,
double.
it was really good to be able to meet you through that. And I feel very blessed that we got to know each other. And hi Stu. Anyways, so tell us a little bit about who your story involves here tonight.
So I've been going back and forth on which story to share. I'm a naturally forgiving person,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe that's always just been in my nature, and so I move past things fairly quickly. I know someone up there above said something like, I'll forgive but not forget, and I
Mm-hmm.
very much embody that myself. Like, I will forgive you because I don't want to harbor resentment or negative energy, because then that brings me down and affects me. So the story I'm going to share is about kind of a past friend and a former boss that I had. And do you want me to start the story, or did you have questions?
I always say the best place to start a story is usually at the beginning.
Okay. So I upon graduating with my bachelor's degree, I went and started my master's in mental health counseling, and I was lucky enough to find a paid internship experience, and it was in a therapeutic setting with children, which is the area I excel in. And so I went through that program and graduated, got my license, and I became really close to a group of people, my coworkers. I'm a naturally friendly person, and so I make friends with everyone. I trust everyone, and pretty much until they maybe give me a reason not to trust them,
Mm-hmm.
which can also be a weakness
Yeah,
at some
100%.
point. So I developed a very good friendship, and we kind of had a group of us that kind of ran this program. And back in 2020, things started to change and fall through. Some of the ways she was teaching us were not ethically right. And so as we were all graduating and learning some of the more like paperwork, not right, but ethically in our license, right? And so we were starting to learn some of these things and that they weren't correct. And so she remodeled the whole program, which totally agree. That's what needed to be done. And moved it more into like a private practice realm, which was perfect. And so a few of the therapists left, and it caused like a big division amongst this group where we were all close knit and good friends. On a professional level, it caused this division. And so I stayed and supported her through that change in process, and she had to get the billing system set up and get everything changed so we could accept insurance. And the deal was that we would get paid 50% of what came in. And so as insurance produces, we'll get paid 50%. Where we ran into issues is after 1 month, she still didn't have the billing system put together, and so was unable to get paid. After 2 months, it still was a reoccurring thing. After 3 months, it was still a reoccurring thing. And at that point, it was like, okay, I need to look and reanalyze. And it was very much like, when that money comes in, I will give it to you. But at the same time, I have kids and I'm trying to
Right.
support and live. And I mean, she would give us like a down payment, like almost like a loan, and it was like $1,000 for like the month. And like, I mean, that's not enough for me.
Yeah.
I and I'm expecting like quite a bit of money to come in because insurance pays fairly well. And so I'm not getting that. And so as of December 2020, I got offered a different job at a different private practice. And I was like, heck yes, I'm going to I have to. And I told her, like, I'm really sorry. I can't, I've supported you through this, and it needs, but I have to kind of move on. And she was very upset, and she was like, hey, will you just stay the rest of the month so we can kind of figure out and transition things? And I said, yes, I will do that. and help you along those way. And so once the end of the month came, I was getting ready to go see Juan. Actually, the trip he proposed to me, and I was getting ready to go, and it was like the payday before, and she was like, "Well, I can't pay you anything. Like, I'm not even like the $1,000." And I was like, "What do you mean? You know, I stayed an extra month for you, and if I would have known that you weren't even going to pay me anything, like I would have jumped and went right away." And you know, this is
Right.
someone that I've been friends with at this point for probably 4 years, and I had a really close relationship with. And so naturally, I was very upset. And this
Sure.
situation has taken me a long time to move forward. And so I got back from Colombia. She ended up like a week later giving me $1,000 because she felt bad, which I'm glad because I literally was going to go to Colombia with nothing. And so at this point she probably owed me around
Wow.
$13,000. And so I'm like, what do I do? What's my next steps? I definitely turned to writing. In my head I was like, hey, I'm gonna make this a civil matter, go to court and try to get my money. And you know, and yeah, and I will say my kids were not starving. I see that comment. My kids, I take care of my kids. I wouldn't let my baby starve. But I definitely,
You got to learn to ignore the trolls in here.
I
They
know.
can
I'm the
they can
worst
become
about.
really. This is one of the easier streams, but sometimes they can be really bad.
I know. Juan tells me the same things all the time. That's where I need to learn how to forgive people. um. So, anyways, I decided to write up kind of like what I was gonna do if I went to court. Like, this is what I'm gonna say. This is, and here's all the, you know, dots and the Q's and all whatever that
Yeah.
saying is. And this is how much she owes me. This is from the system. My issue was, you know, I know she had to put in a place and get things situated and wait for the insurance to come, but that's not my problem. You know, if you're signing a therapist, it should be already
Right.
well oiled operated machine, and you should be able to pay your therapist. I shouldn't have to wait. You know, um, and so I typed a long thing, like 3 pages. I never ended up doing anything with it because I just didn't feel as if I wanted to move forward with it all. I did in parts. She ended up paying me probably back 5,000 in little small payments. And she probably owed me still like 7, 8,000 that I never got and never saw.
Wow.
And you know, I was lucky enough to have a new job that was a fully operating system and paid me and pays me very well. And so I think because of that, I was able to move forward a little bit and not need that.
Mm.
And so I think with a lot of reflection, you know, I lost a friendship, but I don't hold any resentment. I have a coworker that very much still holds so much resentment towards her. And you know, it that negativity, like, it feeds her, it feels like fuels her. And it's just like, it's still like, it just troubles her so much. Like, I
Mhm.
go to bed at night and I sleep fine, like, I don't think of
Right.
her. I, you know, I wish her nothing but the best, and I hope that she can. I hope by now the system has worked out. I don't think it's working very well for her, and it's a shame because as a therapist she was a really good therapist, but obviously the billing aspects and the handling some of the office aspects were not
Right.
lining up, and she didn't have the right people in her corner to help that. And so I hope and wish nothing but the best, but it's not something that I feel like I no longer need to hold resentment and have to deal with, because negative energy attracts more
Right.
negative energy. And I'm a firm believer in that. And so moving forward and moving past something helps, I don't
Right.
know, me feel better. And then I don't have to have negative energy, which then affects everyone else around me.
Right. If you're just joining us, this is Forgiveness Culture. I'm your host, Matthew, and we're joined tonight by Jessica, who's sharing a story from her personal and professional life about forgiveness. There's so much in your story that I could like pick apart and talk about, but one of the things I really wanted to ask is does it add a year to situation the fact that you guys are all therapists, because like I feel like, more than any other field, therapists are kind of guided by their desire for, healthy resolution, and healthy way of dealing with things. And I feel like that's just not one profession where you can just go, hey, you mother effer, you need to, it's just like it feels like you're almost betraying yourself and your career. Did that add any kind of, I don't know, interesting layers to your ability to kind of address the situation?
Possibly. So I'm just not that type of person in any area in my life. I'm very no conflict, not feisty. Megan, it gets feisty, right? Like my
Oh,
best
we all
friend.
saw that. We
Yeah.
all saw
So
that.
Megan, and she's a therapist too, and so she handled it
Okay.
a little bit differently than I did. She ended up going to court. I did not. And so it's like I think just personally, that's just not how I am. But you're right. It does add an aspect. And, I do think she felt bad not being able to pay us, but how the situation was handled and moving forward and communicated kind of is
Mhm.
where I had issues. It really felt like there was no try on her end to like really make what was necessarily happen. But it added a layer, I guess, professionally too, where you
Yeah.
have to navigate this.
Because I don't know, that was just what kind of struck me, because it's like, and I've actually always wondered that about therapists, whoever practice together, is like, how do you guys like, how is like solving problems and conflicts different? Because working in criminal justice, I mean, we have all different kinds of people, the drill instructor types, the toxic types, the social worker types. So we're a ragtag bunch. But it seems like, you have, if you're a therapist, you have to do the right thing, you have to be healthy, you can't be
So,
toxic.
I think though professionally and personally, there's a lot of, difference sometimes. And so
Okay.
how some of us, not necessarily me, I think mine, I blend pretty much this personality all the time.
Right.
And I'm usually always authentically me. And that's why
I'm the
I
same.
struggled even thinking of anything to really discuss. But professionally and personally, people are different, and how they might, I don't think any of my coworkers are like, I'm gonna go beat you up in the back alley type or anything like that. But
Witnessing therapy, but
yeah, but I think people communicate things, and some people don't communicate as well as others. I think
sure.
that's one of my strong suits. Or others let their emotions kind of get the best of them, and we're all human, we're all people, and we all feel things. And so sometimes our emotions, even as therapists, can get the best of us.
Right.
It just might be handled in a different setting.
Right. And one of I put out a video, a couple months ago about forgiving but not forgetting. And I think a lot of us say that, because we say, I forgive what I don't forget. But we say that because we haven't really forgiven. We're just, we're saying, and we don't forget because we want to hold it against the person who hurt us. But what you're saying here tonight really kind of makes me feel like you're doing what it really means when we say we forgive but we don't forget. Is the reason that we don't forget is so that we can learn from the experience and grow and do better and protect ourselves, as opposed to, I'm not going to forget so I can always hold it against that person. So I really like that. Did you ever find out like what where all this money went?
I think at the beginning, no, I didn't. I think at the beginning, it really was, it takes time to get signed up through insurance companies. And so during that time, I think it would just had a big delay. There should have been more that came in, and I don't know where I didn't push the issue.
Right.
Had I been in a place where I was financially struggling by that point, I was during that time, but then I accepted that new job and I no longer was. If I was in the place where I was financially struggling, maybe my reaction or handling things would have been different. Because I wasn't, I was able to kind of just move forward and not have to go through all the hoops and hurdles to try to get that money and like continue to have to deal with it.
Right.
I was
Right.
ready to move on, and
I
I
hear you.
wasn't in the place, you know. Ironically, though, ironically, where it really affected me was my 2020 tax return. So I didn't get, or 2021 tax return, because I didn't get that, or 2022 tax. I don't really know. One of my tax returns, it really affected me because I didn't get that money in the year I was supposed to get it, and so I ended up having like, $6,000 extra that she ended up paying me in the following year, and so it went towards my last year, so it was 2022 tax return. But I had made more than I expected, and so it put me over the bracket, and I ended up having to pay in. And so the money I got, actually, when it was all said and done, ended up having to be pretty much paid in. So it was like
That's
a
rough.
new thing. And it was supposed to be my money from the year before. So to me, it was
Right.
like, this isn't fair.
Yeah,
Like, it should be on my last year's tax return.
that's
But,
rough. For those of you who are joining us, this is Forgiveness Culture. I'm your host, Matthew. We're joined by Jessica here tonight. Thank you to all 372 of you guys for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Was there a moment where it was a struggle to forgive for this situation, or was this just kind of you decided kind of right away, I'm not going to let this affect me.
it took
or
time. I definitely took time. You know, right away, like the first few months, I was definitely really heated. Back to me typing my court document, and I was ready to go win this case. And then it really took, I think that actually helped me release a lot of feelings, because once I typed that and wrote it all out, I was able to like get everything I was feeling out on paper. And so then I was able to move past it, because then I never went and moved forward with anything. I would say it took a good 6 months to be able to just be like, I think it goes back to the kind of accountability thing and setting boundaries for myself. Like, I wasn't going to go back down that road. I was learning from it, what not to do. And there was a lot of growth that came from it. And, I wish her nothing but the best. I'm not going to go work for her again. But I don't think about this situation anymore, and I'm able to just move on and find peace in that.
Yeah. A question I always like to ask is, how do you think your life would be different if you hadn't been able to get to a place where you forgave her?
I think I would just, the biggest thing to me with forgiveness and not forgetting, or not forgiving, I mean, is just that I really do believe, like, I hate negativity and I hate toxic energy, and and you feel it. Like, if you feel negative or angry and stuff like that, it affects everyone else around you. It'll affect my kids, it'll affect my family, it'll affect my mood and what energy I'm pushing out. And if I'm pushing all that out, what am I getting back? The
Right.
same.
100%.
And so I really truly live a very positive life. And I always tell the teens I work with, even if someone's picking up, like, kill them with kindness. If you can do anything, like, don't let them get a reaction out of you, because then you're letting them win. And
100%. And I couldn't have said it better myself. Like, by holding on to that negativity, it's going to manifest itself somehow. I meet people who say, "Oh, I can just sweep it under the rug," but that energy always manifests itself somewhere. So if you hold on to negative energy, it's going to manifest itself, like you said, in how you treat your kids, or how you treat your friends, and or how you treat your coworkers, and it's going to bring you down, your mood down, but it's going to manifest itself somewhere. And you guys, this is not just something that Jessica is saying. Okay, her and I lived this. All right, we were bullied
I'm
for
still
three
so bullied.
for 3 months straight being on
So
this daggum
bullied.
reality show. So we know of what we speak. So yeah, this is not just something that, I mean, it would have been very easy for both of us to just get online and be keyboard warriors and, shoot back at these people who are saying just nasty things at us. But
I've been able to really channel that into my work. And so I've been cyberbullied, and I do a teen self-esteem group. And so I'm like, able, like, let's talk about cyberbullying, let's talk about bullying. Like, I can relate. I have been there, maybe more than any of them at this
exactly.
point.
Exactly. we just got a few minutes left, but you say you're a very forgiving person, and I am as well. Are there any areas of your life that you find that are a little bit more particularly challenging to forgive than others?
I really experience things when they happen, and in that moment, maybe I feel, I'm protective over my kids.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I think probably that's the biggest one. I'm protective over my children, and so, and my family, my friends, like the people I love, I'm protective over them. And so sometimes it's harder to forgive if someone's done wrong to someone that you love, more than yourself, definitely. Like for myself, I'm able to move forward and, hear people out and forgive and let go. With my kids, it's a little different,
Uh-huh.
even with, other people I love too.
I can imagine that, and I always say for me, it's always easy for me to forgive for myself. But if you hurt someone I love, if any of y'all ever hurt Anna, like let me tell y'all something. That that's when the forgiveness becomes a challenge for me because it's like it was funny. Like even on this show, like I didn't like it when people said hard stuff about me. It did bother me, at least at first it did. I did come, I don't know about you, I got a little desensitized to it after a few weeks. It was just like,
You
eh.
know, no, Matthew, what really hurts my feelings, actually, no, it still does, because I think there was a very much a misconception maybe about me in some ways, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like the most positive and nicest person. I mean, I don't have like really one enemy. Like I really don't, besides
Yeah,
my trolls,
I feel you.
obviously.
Yeah,
But and so I don't know. So that I really take things to heart, and I'm like, that's not even who I
yeah,
am.
exactly.
That's
No,
not
say,
the person. Like, don't think that.
I think you and I are very much of the same ilk in a lot of ways because I was like, anytime anyone says something bad about me, I'm like, I don't have any enemies. I never have any problems with anybody. Like this was very much a new experience for me because like I get along with pretty much anybody. I don't really have any drama in my life so much, and it's very hard. Like I always tell people, if you hate me or you like don't get along with me, you might want to re-examine your life. I'm a very hard person to have conflict with.
Me too.
So
And then part of that is because we both move past and we forgive, and you move
exactly.
on, and so it's like, hey, let's work through this. Let's move on. I'm not gonna hang on to something, and so and I don't even let things. If you're positive and nice, those things don't really come up, and it's hard for people to burn your bridges. And I really am someone that's like, I trust everyone until they give me a reason not to, and it's
100%.
done fine by me. I've had very few people break my trust.
100%. Thank you, Amanda. And that was the thing. It was very easy for me to like. At first, it bothered me, but then I became a little desensitized to it. I'm not gonna lie. But when people started going after Anna, I was like, oh, hold on. To the point where she even one point was like, okay, you can just calm down. You don't need to be doing all this because I was like, don't you be talking about her. I swear to God. Yeah, I would get on my box.
I get
Okay.
that with my kids when people talk about my kids.
I can
And
imagine.
sometimes I would reply, and I try, there would be times when I really would like don't, but it's like, those are my babies.
Yeah,
Don't you
100%.
come after children? Who are you? You're a grown up. Like,
Exactly. Two questions we always ask everybody, and then I'll let you go. The first question we always ask is if somebody was hearing your story here tonight and maybe they're going through something similar or they have gone through something similar in their life, what would be your best advice for them?
it's hard because every situation is different, and scenarios are different, people are different, and we all have different reactions. Um, but just to, not let those negative things tear you up, and not to hold on to them. It's way worse if we bottle them up and hold on to them than it is if we let them go. And the situations are different. Obviously, like you said, if it's like a severe crime, like you're moving on and moving past it, is going to be a lot different if it's someone that maybe just betrayed you. And the scenarios are depending,
Yeah,
but being able to move forward in things, there's a peace in that. And I think peace is a good feeling.
I agree 100%. And the last question I'll ask you is if someone was hearing your story here tonight and they said, you know, this person doesn't deserve your forgiveness. What would be your response to someone who said that that person who did all this to you doesn't deserve your forgiveness?
Everyone in ways deserves forgiveness. And, I think forgiveness also, it's if the person knows what they did is wrong, it's easier to forgive, but it's easier on yourself. It's just such a lighter feeling. Like maybe they don't deserve your forgiveness, but being able to find that in yourself and do it anyways creates such a lighter feeling on your heart. And if you have all this heavy heart and you're thinking about this situation all the time, and now you're unable to build relationships in areas with other people because someone else did you wrong, it, how is that a good life,
Right.
And so being able to move forward helps your quality of life, really.
Love
Like if
that.
you're stuck on something, then it's going to drag you down with it, and you might not forgive them, but you're stuck with them too.
I love that comment. How is that a good way of life? Like so many times I look at people who harbor resentment and toxicity, and I think I asked that question in my head, how is that a good life? But hey, I mean, uh, people have to learn at their own pace. Jessica, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. If people want to follow you, I know you're not a streamer here on Meet Me, but if they do want to follow you on social media, how can they do that?
Instagram at Jessica7352. You probably could look my name up or find me in Matthew's stuff. Oh yeah, same thing. Perfect. Yep, same. And then, I'm on TikTok, Jessica Adventure. I am not on this app. This was a me getting it just to hang out with Matthew and hang out with you guys and see
We
all the
appreciate
people
it.
that would message me that I look pretty.
Don't read the messages, right,
I
guys? We
didn't.
got to
I signed out, but then they still
never
popped
read
up
the
anyway.
messages.
And so, I'm not on this app, but you can find me on Instagram or on TikTok.
Absolutely. We all say that the meet me direct messages are where the worst of humanity comes to die. I mean,
I didn't read the messages, but it's like always like someone swiped, someone went to your profile. I don't know. I'm not really sure. And I looked one day and I was like, okay, I am very taken. I'm very engaged.
yeah, exactly. Jessica, thank you again. I'm gonna X you out of the box. Thank you so much for coming over to our neck of the woods and sharing your story here tonight.
Thanks for having me, and it was great hanging out with all you guys.
You too. Bye, Jessica. What an amazing guest, guys. So grateful that Jessica joined here today and shared her story with us. We are going to be taking another break next week, guys, but we'll be back the week after. Oh, can we get Gino, please? Oh, God. I don't. Gino doesn't even follow me. I tried to get Jasmine to follow me. Kim, thank you, because Jasmine and I are both vegan, and Jasmine wouldn't follow me back. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't know who I am. Most of the people who don't. I think I have the least amount of followers for anyone who's ever been on the 90 Day Fiance franchise. I think I have lower followers than anybody. I probably have less screen time than anybody who's on that show. But anyways, they should follow me, right? But we do love Gino and Jasmine. God, we love Gino and Jasmine, right? God, they're just how can you just can't look away. You just can't look away. But we will be back later on this weekend, guys. This is my birthday weekend. My birthday is on Sunday, so we are going to be back later on this weekend to celebrate my birthday for a birthday stream. So go find your rich friends because all I want for my birthday is a dragon wheel. I don't even care who sends it. Okay. I don't care if you got to go steal the coins out of your. No, don't steal the coins. I'm just kidding. Don't steal the coins. Don't steal the coins. I'm going to get in trouble. I'm a top badge on the app. I can't say things like that. But the show is out. The show is over. So, Rose, thank you. But yeah, guys, please join me for my birthday stream this weekend. We will be taking a week off next week because I am moving into my new house. As you can see, I'm kind of an in between place right now. I am staying with my friends, and I have to be a little quiet because their kids are sleeping right now. But yes, I will be moving to my new place next week, and I'm not going to stream in the middle of that because I got a lot going on. And then the week after that is what? The week after that is Live Fest, guys. Who's excited about Live Fest? I get to see many of you guys at the event, and really looking forward to that. It will be my last, um, really last big thing to do here on Meet Me, guys. I will be. Actually, Amanda, this is the last week we have to save the badge. I have enough grace weeks left to carry me through Life Fest. So as long as we hit 80K this week, we're good to go. And I'm going to send Meet Me a message saying that I'm going to use the rest of my grace weeks through Life Fest, and then I'm going to give up the badge. And I still will stream from time to time, but this will be, guys, it's been an amazing almost 4 years. But and I'm not saying goodbye. Like, I'm not saying goodbye, goodbye. I'm very thankful to this app for a lot of reasons. I met a lot of good friends on this app. I met my fiance on this app, but it's just not it's no longer a part of my regular everyday life anymore. I'm getting back into playing ultimate frisbee and sports, which was something that I really much enjoyed. I finished grad school, so I have more time to volunteer. One of the things I really enjoyed doing was volunteering at a local homeless shelter that I used to do a lot, and I really hadn't done much at all in the past 3 years because of grad school and because of COVID. I want to get back into that. And my fiance will hopefully be moving here next year, and so I want to get everything ready for her. So it's not goodbye, but I think my full-time streaming days are well behind me. So I want to give my top badge to the next generation. And there's a huge number of streamers on here who are streaming every day or almost every day, and would be amazing top badges. And I don't want to hold a badge in their place when there's just so many good, deserving people, and I stream on here once a week, once or twice a week. Um, and it's just it's not goodbye, but it's time to move on from streaming being an everyday part of my life. So, but I'm always here on Instagram. I still sign into Snapchat like once a month, but anyways, guys, I really appreciate you guys for being here. Please, please, please tune in this Saturday and Sunday when I do my birthday stream. And can I make the B Rad pick your profile pic? What's the B Rad pick? The B Rad pick? What's the B Rad pick? Um, the I. Oh God, no, no, in no way, shape, or form am I doing that. That was terrible. Listen, that would not be a good show. I do need to change my profile picture now back because this show is over. So thank you for reminding me to do that. But definitely not. No, that was what was AI thinking? What was AI thinking? That was disturbing. Am I still going to do the show? Yes, I am still going to be doing the show. But that's probably going to be the only thing I'll be doing. I probably won't be streaming. I'll stream from time to time. I'm not saying you'll never see me, but I won't be. We get 6 weeks, Bobby, and I've used 3. So as long as I hit my 80K this week, I will be good through um, through Life Fest. So as long as I hit it this week, which guys, we're only 10K away, and I haven't even done my birthday stream yet. So, um, but yeah, and hopefully I'll get what I've always wanted, which is a dragon wheel. That's the only thing I've always wanted, and I never got. So go check the coins underneath your couch. You know, this is the last chance to do it. But guys, y'all have a great night. I love you all. Remember to make the world a better place. And if you can't make the world a better place, at least don't make it worse. We'll see y'all this weekend.